Boys, welcome back, Baruch Hashem. Kanaki, we have special guests, and it's very, very special to be back together and learn together the Heilige Torah. So everybody knows that we're now holding in a very special time. We started Parsha Shemos. The Chumash of Shemos brings in a tekufa, brings in a time to a growing yid, trying to get closer to the Eibishter. It brings in an all-new Zman, a Zman of Tshuva, a Zman of Eskarvis to the Eibush, on the deepest, the most awesomest levels. And everybody knows that this is called the Shavovim. The Shavovim, what does Shavovim mean? Literally, Shavov means troublemaker, Shobab in Hebrew. Shavov means a troublemaker. What's the Torah? That's the Torah's word of Shavov. People that need to do Tshuva, people that we all have to come back to the Eibush. It so happens to be that this word Shavovim also is the Rosh Tevis of Shemos Ve'erim, Boi B'Shalach, Yisrael Mishpatim, and this year it's Shavovim Tat for Truma Tetzaveh. Now, what in the world is Shavovim? What in the world is? Why is the Torah calling us a Shavov? What is the Zman? What's the Shaykhis that the Gemara, that the Rosh Tevis of these upcoming Torah readings, portions of the week, have to do with any Zman of Tshuva? Tshuva for what? Tshuva for who? I've always learned Tshuva is Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. What's going on? What is this Indian of Shavovim? Shavovim is the biggest topic, and Shavovim is the most important topic. And Be'ez Hashem Mistama, definitely we won't be able to get it all in now, but just as an introduction to understand where we're at and to appreciate, and befrat those of us that came from Chutz La'aretz in the first week, me included, just came back, to Eretz Yisrael for this man of Shavovim, we have to understand the godless and the greatness. So let's begin like this. Chazal tell us, Gedoyle Tshuva shekodma lebriyas ha'olam. Tshuva was so great that the Eibishter even created Tshuva before he created the world. Can you imagine? Why? Because nobody knows as best as God Almighty Himself. The Eibishter knows. And therefore, the Eibishter, the way the world was created, and the way the Eibishter wanted the world to run, was, yes, we make mistakes. Mistakes is not a terrible thing. Falling is Seder Olam, just like the grass grows and the trees give out fruits and vegetables. That's what the Eibishter made it. So too, people have Yeridas and Nephilas, but that's okay. Kol Zman. Now with that, you have aliyus and greatness and growth spurts. Very normal. I met a fellow that I have to do with certain times of the year, an individual, a very, very, very special individual. I love him. I told him yesterday that if you would only know how much I love you, you can't even imagine how much more the Eibishter loves you. Mama Shahid, this guy's going through a very hard time, and I haven't seen him in a few months. I was on the phone, and I walked into his office yesterday, and I should have fainted, but I didn't. This guy that was dressed a little bit chassidish with pace and a beard and a big yarmulke, a mohawk. He lost his pants somewhere. I would have given him the other half if I had more change on my pants. The guy, mamish, is a grown man, older than me and everything. And I was talking to somebody, and he's like, wait for me outside. I said, no problem. And I come inside, and I'm schmoozing. And we're having a big conversation. Of course, I couldn't control myself in the middle, and after we spoke to business, I'm like, what's going on in your nefesh? Like, what's going on? We got into a very deep conversation. At the end, he tells me, you know what I appreciate? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He said, anybody that saw me for the first time in a few months, usually they lose their breath. Because they're like, 1 second, is this the right guy? He said, you walked into my office, you didn't flinch, you like the same eyes, the same hug. So I said, Mayor, Mayor, you're forgetting, I deal with people. And in people, sometimes you meet a guy, that you meet him in the morning, the guy's got a beard down to his, lower parts. I can meet the same guy in the evening, clean shaven, 3 days later it's back to his chest, you know what I mean? What does that mean? Simon of living, growth. I don't have Nishonis, so fine. I'm a little bit, I can be misgaber sometimes, a little boy. I'm not going to take this off. But I mean, they're regular Yid. Baruch Hashem, healthy individual, fine. And after we spoke, I understood that he's going through in Yonim, you know what I mean? And Be'ez Hashem, He didn't cut off his nose, he didn't cut off his toes. It'll grow back. You know what I mean? Be'ez Hashem. What's the Nakuda? Nakuda is the Eibishter created the world, but that's how things go. There were times Klal Yisrael had the biggest Nevi'im and the biggest, greatest leaders. We always in every door. And there are times that we know in the Yemei HaShoiftim, what it says in the Mefarshei Hanach, that it was times that maybe they weren't the greatest, but at that time Klal Yisrael was in a state where they were in a very low state, and the Eibishter used his best characters at that time to lead Klal Yisrael. And then afterwards, Galgal HaChoyzer, then it becomes great again. I mean, this Mitzvah, the Eibishter created the world. The Eibishter knew that this Yetzer Hara dude is a nasty, strong, powerful Inyan thing, creation, and therefore, before even the world came into creation, before anything, the Eibishter created tshuva. Now, if you have the antidote before the illness, it's not so bad. Not so bad. If you have the refuah kaidim lamaka, so then if the makkah comes, the Yetzer Hara is here. You have Torah, which was kadma l'briya. That's how you do tshuva kadma l'briya. So therefore, it's not such a scary Indian later that the Yetzer Hara might bite a guy, bites us all, but I run and I have tshuva. I could come back even greater if I can. That Yerida, like the Heilige Rebbe tells us the Moedica words, Tachlis ha-Yerida, Tachlis ha-Richuk is Tchilas ha-Skarvis. You know what I mean? It's all about coming great. The Tachlis and the Yerida is two different things. He says, I mixed them, I made them on chum. Tachlis ha-Yerida is Aliyah. Yeah, everybody knows them. All you have a Yerida. And the whole point of the Yerida is just to wake you up and bring you to the highest levels.
Yerida Aliyah comes from Reb Nachman, or from where is it?
Even before, but Reb Nachman Mamish.
Said those words?
Yerida Aliyah is an older Svarim Magdash. This is how the world created. But Avada, the Rebbe, in all the Svarim, uses that more than another Svarim. Tachlis HaYerida, he L'Tzarech Aliyah. 100%. Yeah. But that is Chiddush. It's a Chiddush of the Eibishter. That's and Moshe Rabbeinu already taught us this. That's what happened to Klal Yisrael. That's our history. Right. Our whole essence, right? In Chabad, the whole Tachlis of the Yerida, the Neshama, is in order to become great. Everything. This is the Mitzvah of a Yid. Right? So it's not a scary thing. We have to know how to deal with it. Right? A person goes to a doctor, the doctor says, listen, you got a big issue. The guy's shaking his pants. Don't worry. We have Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter, all right, not so bad. The person gets, The Mitzvah says, I want to heard from Gamliel, he said that sometimes, later I saw it in Shivas Nefesh and from Dari, but he said, and Gamliel said this, he said it like this, he said, sometimes you have a neshama that's such a high neshama. He's the most awesome neshama. He's so high. And this guy should be like learning and davening and chatzoising and his body thing all day and all night. He should be flying in Yichudim. And instead the guy's making trouble. You know what I mean? His mom is not doing anything. He's not even making trouble. He's just wasting his soul. You know what I mean? Soul waster. Just not doing anything. So what does the Eibush do? He says, how do I get this guy inspired? What do I do to this guy? The guy's not holding there. The Pisetzner says this, by the way, also. It says it, I always say from the Pisetzner, but the way the Pisetzner says it, he says like this, you want the Eibush to reveal Malachim to you? You have no idea what Malach looks like. You drop dead, you'll run away. You know what I mean? So what does the Eibush do to wake you up? So the Eibush knocks the guy down into Taivas sometimes, and to places the guy would never want to be. And one day, he's like, what? How in the world did I get here? Shem, Yerachim. And he gets so woken up and so like, oh my gosh, where am I? Ayeka. And the guy runs to the Bismedish and runs to the mikveh and stays there for 3 days and comes up and Mama starts learning Shas and plays right. And she's like, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. There's no way to show it to you. If I would have showed you like Malachim learning Torah, you weren't interested. I gave you a frask. I gave you a patch. I knocked you down a couple of levels into the garbage, and you don't like being in the garbage, and you got, I don't want to be here.
Does it have to be a spiritual?
It doesn't have to be, but sometimes
you lose $1 million and that wakes you up, or it could be a physical Yerida.
100%. It could be any of these. It could be any of these. But many times the bigger chiddush is when it's in Nisyonis, right? A guy thinks I'm in the worst place. Who put me there? The Eibishter.
40-man level.
Mamish. You know what I mean? That's the big chiddush. And a guy never goes to the doctor and the doctor says you have 2 minutes to live. And the guy's like, does true and lives 190 years. You know what I mean? That's like regular stories, you know? This is a guy found himself in the most problematic kedusha in Yonim, and he flopped, and he's like, God, I want to cease to exist right now. I can live with my matziv, yeah? And Hashem says, well, you could do tshuva. You know what I mean? And the guy says, I have another chance, and he runs to the Bismedish, and then says Tikun Klali 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
That's a question.
Yeah.
So you think found himself? We spoke about this a few times. You say he found himself, or he put himself. Which one? I guess it's always finding themselves, because everything is yoch and everything like that. But there's also we choose to do things sometimes, myself included. Everybody has yididus, and Lamasa, we get to places sometimes that we take away an opportunity from ourselves. And all these opportunities that we were supposed to grasp, and we.
So the Baal Shem Tov says something very, 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 very spooky. And you have to be very careful whoever hears this to ask before you repeat this. Sometimes the Eibishter takes away the Bechir of a person. Sometimes the Eibishter wants us to go there. And we're like, yes, I could hold myself back, but I'm too weak and I'll fall in, right? And the guy says, I did that. He didn't do that. The Eibishter did that. That means that, right? Sometimes the person's like, I'm aware enough. I've heard so many shmoozin right here at the best about being chizit. I know I'm doing something stupid, but I'm still going to do it, right? So you think that you killed yourself, right? That nothing to do with the Eibishter. I was completely aware. I didn't end up here. No. The Eibishter, with all the situation, with your whole, the Eibishter put you there. Maybe because in order afterwards you have such a whatever. But I'm all this in me because the tshuva later, it's not our cheshbonis. It's a scary thing because the person can't say, oh, let me go fry some burger on your camper in the base loose. Because, no, I mean, the mitzvah is avad this bechir, the person has to be careful not to do. But the mitzvah is, la'achar ha'maisa, it was bashert.
Right, it's a different type of, meaning you have some sort of bechir, but not to choose whether to do it or not, whether after
Meaning,
how to feel about it.
Etzim before anything, before any gezeira that there is. This is a gezeira. There's a gezeira on you. Because the Eibishter created the world that we should listen to him. The Eibishter created the world that we should bring light. The Eibishter created the world our job in this world is to reveal God's light in the world, Our job in this world is to make the Eibishter's name great again, right? So, it defies the purpose when a person goes against what the Torah says, right? So how could it be? But sometimes that the Eibishter Avada, there's a Metzias Amol that even though the whole purpose of the world is just to make the Eibishter's name great again, but we're not Malachim and Shrafim. The Reb Nachman says the famous words, the biggest chiddush of the Eibishter, Kiviyachol, the biggest chiddush of the Eibishter is somebody that sinned so badly could still do such tshuva and come so high. The biggest chiddush is a guy, a melech basar v'dam, a human king, person did something that he's not allowed to, heads chopped off, there's no second chance. The Eibishter, somebody could have been over the Averis over and over and over again, and then he makes a U-turn, and Fakert creates the highest levels, Gedoyle, what do we say, right, that the Baal Tshuva is greater than a tzaddik, hey, what happened? This guy messed up the whole world. But the chiddush of the Eibishter is, no, the Eibishter made us azach that part of making his name, the true greatness of the Eibishter is Dafka, when we fell on our heads and broke our noses and toes and mamish, feel like that a Yid could still come from there and become the biggest tzaddik in the history of the universe. Like how? Like what?
Right, would you say that possibly Adam HaRishon had this, like the Baal Shem Tov said, maybe applies to what happened with Adam HaRishon eating from the tree?
Exactly. I'm going to say what the Chidah says, and then we're going to end up.
It's a very deep concept, the whole idea of it.
This is first of all, the Rebbe brings it down, and it's also in the Dibur from Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid. The Maggid brings it down. The Heilige Maggid from Yisrael. But it's a spooky zach, because a guy could say, that's what it said, you have to be very careful. That's I gave introduction. That's not a head to the You have to be very careful.
The Maggid says the mitzvah of tshuva, how do you have a mitzvah to tshuva, you first have to fall.
Yeah, from the Maggid. I think we said some word down from the Maggid, So I want to share with you like this, We'll get to the Indian of Adam Rishon, which is the Haschalos Shavovim. But before that, I just want to share one more Nakuda, and we'll go right into the Indian of Shavovim. The Nakuda is that the truth is that we don't know anything, right? We don't know. Sometimes you have a fellow that he thinks he mamish ruined the world, right, with his Averis. He doesn't have that the Eibishter Toich's Rachmanis and the Eibishter Toich's love and Toich's plan that he has, Fakert. Maybe B'Shas Maisa, the guy did something he shouldn't have done. But, like we said by Nosson Jertzeit, the Eibishter is such a lover of every Yid that even a big sinner, Kol Zman, as long as he didn't remove the name of Yisrael from upon him. Right? He's not a big artist. He's a proud Jew, but a big sinner because he's got a big Baltaivas within him. The Eibishter still inspires, he still beautifies himself with this year. And just this touch upon a small likud, it's all different shmuz. One of the inyanim is because no neshama wants to sin. Nobody wants to sin. The biggest sinner that can't be matzlicha being misgaber doesn't want to sin. Doesn't want to sin. We know that a person, the Chazal tell us, right? It was one time he has a little charata. Shenis until it's shlishis, nasaloi keheter. That's because the guard falls, but the neshama keeps on getting more deeper and captured and more deeper and captured. And the biggest raya that the fellow is a holy mamish, a big tazgit, the piece, that's what he says. When the charata that a guy has for sinning shows how much you really love the Eibishter. Because if I didn't have any charata, then it's a problem. Right? What does the Gemara say? That the Rishon Amalei, right? Amaleiim, not just mitzvahs karima, but malei charatas. Right? That they have so much charata. But what's the charata? The charata is because really my neshama is bothered of where I'm at. The neshama is really bothered of my essence. The neshama really wants to be in a good place. And who sees that? And who sees? Exactly. If a guy is no charata, he's in big trouble. And sometimes the charata comes, the person doesn't feel the charata, but eventually at one point in time he does because he jumps off a roof. You know what I mean? So he says, but who sees that bright at all times? The Eibishter. So the Eibishter is so proud. Never this guy is insane. The guy can't get himself out of that situation. Tzaras Teruz. And the guy mamish is giving up on everything. But the Eibishter is like gletting him, patting him on his chin and saying, you're so sweet. One of you guys middle of the sin. The Eibishter is watching how his essence is eating himself up. So it means he's making the biggest Kiddush Hashem. Because his whole zich, his whole metzias, really wants to get close to the Eibishter. Fine, the Yitzhar is on his tail. We'll have the Eibishter takes to come on that Yitzhar. You know what I mean? Metzias says, if anybody could get free dveikus right now, or free, get loosed from the Yitzhar and detached, I would sign up any day at any moment. Yeah? Not that I want to be in Taibis. Not that, no, I don't want to be Halik. It's an opportunity, swallow this pill, you lose your Yitzhar. No, I don't want that. Every Yid wants that. You know what I mean? Jesus is, every Yid wants it, but we get caught up. Life. Things happen. There's misjoinis. We get upset. Person thinks things should look that way, and then meanwhile that happen that way. The human being is so complicated. You know what I mean? There's so many things that happen to Yid. No, if everything is going on a golden platter, and there's no tightness, there's no misjoinis, there's no anything. Avad every Yid is holy, and every Yid wants to be that way. But he says the Eibishter sees the whole picture from the beginning of the Bria till the end of the Bria. What's going to be? What's going to come out of this Yid? Meitzen, the toiv, the tshuva that will eventually come out, the kedusha will eventually come out. It's a very deep essence. So therefore the Eibishter created a metzias called tshuva kadma lebria. That in order for you and I to survive and be ehrlich Yidden, connected to the Torah, we have to know, connected to the Eibishter, that everything starts off with tshuva. Now, the Eibishter created the Seder HaChadoshim, the way the months flow. Every day and every moment is another opportunity for tshuva. Let's start simply with the month. Everybody, let's go to El. Elul, let's start with El. Because Elul is the intro to the world. The world was first created in Elul, the 25th day of Elul. Right? Machlokes, 25th day of Elul, 25th day of Adar. But Elul is where everything starts. Elul is this man we have to prepare. Everyone knows Elul is man for tshuva. Anila doidi, doidi li, melech basada. There's nobody in the world that's not doing tshuva in Elul. Right? Fine. Then you have Rosh Hashanah, Adar, Rosh Hashanah, being mamlich the Eibishter upon you. And it's a holy, and it's as man of everyone's becoming close to the Eibishter. Then you have a Sefer Tshuva, which these are the elite days of Tshuva. A Sefer Tshuva, mamish, every year in the world is crying out to the Eibishter, Mamakim Kurusich Hashem. Then it comes Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the most greatest day. Chazal tell us that there's no greater days, right? Yom Tovim Ki Yisrael, like Chamisha Ba'ov, Yom Kippurim. Yeah? I want to pull the curtain a little bit. That we shouldn't. No, not that. Not the words. The curtain a bit. Yeah. So the Loyayim Tovim Ki Yisrael, like Chamishas Bavim Kippurim Kippur, is a day Hashem takes a neshama that who knows where he fell and literally dips him clean in a hygiene machine, and that's not freilich, and then the whole 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot is also days of tshuva, connected to Shem Havaya, Grace Zachin, yeah. And then you have Sukkot. Sukkot is all about, Anila Doidi, Doidi Li. It's all about the Chibuk, the Ebrish is hugging us. It's as man weiter of tshuva, Simchas Torah is weiter tshuva. Then what happens? Chazal tell us that when is the Chasima from the Ilah? All the way till Chanukah. So that means that you go into Cheshvan. Cheshvan is like a dull month, but it is looking to Bnei Yissaschar. Bnei Yissaschar tells us Cheshvan is most awesomest month. Ram Cheshvan, Merach Shavan. It's a continuation. It's a continuation from the holy days of Elul and Tishrei. And then it's also the winter nights where everybody's trying very hard to get involved in some kind of Limud Torah. Fine, it gets a little spooky, but I'm saying the Matthias is that it's all a hemshich until Chanukah. Yeah, it's a hemshich till Chanukah. We all know the famous word that it's over. Chedush Yerim brings from Zayda. The Sfasemis brings from the Chedush Yerim. It says in the Mishnah in Bikurim, the different zmanim that you could bring Bikurim and what you say, and it says over there, Michag ad Chanukah. From Sukkot till Chanukah is a time that you still bring Bikurim. So the Chedush Yerim asks, why does it say Chanukah? It doesn't. It should be like a Mishnah style. Give us a complete date. Don't leave us hanging Chanukah, and then you can start which day Chanukah. Say 25th of Kislev. Give us a date. Why does he use the Yom? They say the name of the Yom Tov. The name Chanukah is the name of the Yom Tov. The Gemara says my Chanukah, right? The Mishnah uses the terminology of a Yom Tov. Like you can do it from Sukkot till Chanukah. Give me a date when I can bring this Bikurim until. You understand the question? Tell me, from Chag, I understand from Sukkot, until Chavei Kislev. What are you missing Yom Tovs? Chanukah to Purim, Chanukah to, Chag to Chanukah. So, says the Heilige Chedush Yerim, that Chazal were alluding to this, that mi Chag ad Chanukah, you could still bring Bikurim, because Chag to Chanukah is one hemshech. Chanukah is the continuation of Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. That's why it uses Dafka Yom Tov. It's Mechaber the two Yom Tovim. So, that's still, and we know, right, from all the Heilige Svarim, that the 8th day of Chanukah, Zois Chanukah, is the Mamish, the great, the Chasima. This is the day. What happens after you finish Chanukah? Chanukah usually is either, this year was Vayeshev, then you have Miketz, you have Vayigash. But already in Miketz and Vayigash, I always say the word from the Rebbe Buruchel, Vayeshev, Miketz, Vayigash, he says it's already connected Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkos. And he alludes it in the Chumash, because in Vayeshev, in the Haftarah, it says the pasuk of Im Yitaka Shofar Be'ir. You want to tell them to lower a little bit? Tell them to lower a little bit. They usually know to lower. Tell them to lower a little bit. In the Haftarah of Vayeshev, it says Im Yitaka Shofar Be'ir L'am Lo Yichrodu. Everybody knows that's talking about Rosh Hashanah. And then you have in Vayigash, and then you have in Miketz, you have the famous words in the Torah that says, what does it say over there? Yosef HaTzadik says, the words that we say, 1 second, let me remember the words it says in the Chumash. What does it say? No, it says over there, but that he's doing tshuva, he says, 1 second. What does Yosef HaTzadik say over there? Eschatoi ani maskir. No, Miketz. Eschatoi ani maskir. Where do we see Eschatoi ani maskir? Where is that? Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, you say the whole time, al-chet, Eschatoi ani maskir. And then in Vayigash...
It doesn't say it. The Sarmashka says it.
Right, I'm sorry. By Yosef, the Sarmashka, I'm children. Yeah, he says the words of Eschatoi, he's doing tshuva, he's revealing his sin. So that's connected to Yom Kippur. And then in Vayigash, at the end of Torah, it talks about Psukim, which is talking about Daled Minim. It says that it says over there, "V'hoyalachodim biyodi and mekarev echad alechad" to the Middle Age. So therefore, you see over there, Hashem Kippur Sukkos, and I always teach this word. If you guys remember, I always say that the Rebbe Buruchel was telling us this is the man of tshuva. He says, "You guys don't believe me? I'll show you a Rebbe, so I know what I'm talking about." But by accident, it's Zman Tshuva. It's a continuation. Why? I don't know. The Rebbe Buruchel had an hasaga. But in this hasaga that he had, it attaches the Zman of Chanukah, which seems to be the Zois Chanukah. This is it. All of a sudden, he tells us now it continues. There's still more tshuva going on. And then in Vayichi already starts the Shavovim. Because in Shabbos Vayichi, you already start Shemos. And there are already many Chassidim that started from Friday of Vayichi. Because, so then what Shavim? Shavim is a whole Zman of tshuva. He had a whole winter of tshuva. Shemos, Ve'er, Boy, B'shal, Chishul, B'shpotim, Truma, Tetzaveh. What happens after that? Peter, the Arba Parshas. The Arba Parshas, the B'nai Soscha says right away, Shkolim, which is the first of the Arba Parshas, Shkolim is the name of Tikun Habris. And he reckons it out as we'll get into all of that Torahs. Tikun Habris! I just finished Tikun Habris! I just finished Shavovim! I'm starting now, another opportunity for tshuva. What about the guy that slumbered through Shavovim, didn't make it? So he's done? No! Shabbos Shkolim! The Arba Parshas, Peter is a man of, what does it say in the Gemara? Now we re-accept the Torah. Now what's Nissen? Nissen is man of Yitzis Mitzrayim, Geula. It's also a man of Tshuva. We're getting out of the Memteh Shari Tumah, right? And we were taken out to the highest. What happens afterwards? The whole Yimei Sphira till Mount Torah. Mount Torah, of course, is Tshuva. We Mekabel the Torah. We lost the Zuhama that we had that was bitten to us by the Nachash. You finish Sivan, right? After we get the Torah. Doiv Yisrael Miyapta says that when does Yom Kippur start? Chav Gimel Sivan. Yom Kippur starts Chav Gimel Sivan. So, and then the whole 3 weeks is also Zman of Tshuva that starts Sivan into Tammuz. It's all, so pick the date, spin. He has a whole cheshbon over there. And the After brings a whole cheshbon. Chav Gimel Sivan was a day that Chav Gimel Sivan is the Rosh Tevis and the Gemat. Let me try to remember what he says over there. That Chav Gimel Sivan. I don't remember. It's a word that he says over there that in Chav Gimel Sivan is already in Merumas, the Indian of Seleach. Has to maybe I don't remember. I have to double check. We'll check it soon maybe. But David Shaw says from Chav Gimel. It's a famous thing. Chav Gimel Sivan starts Tshuva. Salach, he has to do with some. He brings a remes over there. Maybe Koisi, whatever. Ich denke nicht, we'll look it up. But Chav Gimel Sivan starts Yom Kippur. And also, Sivan is the Hemshech. The whole month is Hemshech Kabbalah Torah. And then you go into Tammuz, which is the 3 weeks and the 9 days, which was Lachona for Elul, and you spend the dice. We're always in Tshuva. We're always in Tshuva. Aber, there's got to be a difference. From the Tshuva, Chav Gimel Sivan, to Shavovim, to Elul. And that's what brings us to the idea of how much the Eibishter loves us. Times as manim of Tshuva Ma'ahava, Tshuva Me'yira. And we'll continue tomorrow. Shavovim is such a freebie kiss from Hashem. That means if we would understand if tell a guy they never heard of Shavovim before, never heard these Chassidish Shemaitis. Tell the guy, wow, this is his man, you can do Tshuva. The Eibishter's waiting to accept it. The guy say, Lunabin, what are you talking about? A serious make Tshuva. Yeah, but if a serious make Tshuva, I understand if I didn't do Tshuva, then I'm an idiot. Because I'm getting Nechtav and Nechtam, I'm getting inscribed and sealed, I better do Tshuva. Guys, now, there's no Yom Kippur coming up after Shavovim. So if a Yid does Tshuva now, it's the biggest Tshuva Mahava. I'm not scared. I mean, I've had it, we always have to have Hashem, but it's not in a Kuda where, if I didn't do Tshuva for Yom Kippur, then I got to be crazy. Something is missing in my essence. But if I don't do Tshuva and Shavovim, no. So if a Yid uses the opportunity, which we didn't get yet to explain what Shavovim is, whoever uses Shavovim to do Tshuva, that's the biggest raya that he loves Hashem. If I do Tshuva now, in Shavovim, there's no Chasima, there's no Ne'ilah. Ne'ilah, the last one, was Ois Chanukah. Fine, some people are going to say it goes till like Moimer. But right now, if I do Shavovim, it's not shot that I'm like nervous. I've had it's always good to do tshuva. But if I use the holiness of these days, which we still have to explain till the next year, the godless, it means I'm a true lover of God. It means I care about Hashem. Because the Eibishter gave us an opportunity to show him that these days, which I didn't even start to explain what the Nakuda was, is days that when a person, it's a mesugel ma'oid for Tikun Habris. A person can do tshuva and mamish be mekadesh himself and correct every pagam that he ever made in these yonim and be a hapach and become so holy and so great and a true tzaddik. Be'ez Hashem, continue tomorrow. Why, what, when? Okay.